You know, we all worked a long time, and you guys probably worked a long time too. And I'm sure you would agree that once you got to retirement, you want to make it the best that it can be. You invested all that time and energy and work, and now it's time to make this part of your life what you dreamed of.
But here's the problem that people run into. We ran into this, is that we carry the baggage of our past into retirement. We want to live a very long time in retirement, and we want to live healthy in retirement. Problem is, a lot of people bring baggage into retirement that really inhibits the ability to have the kind of retirement that you want.
And really, in baggage, you're talking about habits and mindsets and routines that used to serve you well, but may not be serving you well as you enter this phase of life.
Yeah, what it does is it holds us back from living the life that we dreamt of. All of the ideas and all of the great positive things we were going to do don't come to fruition because we're holding on to these bad habits.
We have a lot of people that come to us and say that every day feels a little bit wasted and that they are still doing things that they did during their careers, but now in retirement, it feels like it's not serving them. It's almost like they're clinging to outdated habits or worries or stresses that they don't need anymore.
That's true. Today, this video is going to focus on some of the things that we need to let go of as we enter retirement. Follow these ideas and we guarantee you're going to have a better life.
We'll always have the person that says, yeah, but I like my life the way it is. And you know what? That's fine. But as we go through this list, make a couple of notes. Even just small incremental changes can help you make a dramatic difference in your everyday and therefore in your retirement years.
And change is hard. We get that. And a lot of people we hear say, can't I just relax and chill for a while and not have to make a lot of changes?
Some people actually say that to us. Can't you guys just relax and chill for a while?
Well, that's true, and that's fine, and that's another video and another conversation. But here's the thing. Yes, you can chill and you can relax. And we chill and relax one day at a time, a week at a time, we do that. But we always start up again with good habits, healthy habits. So if you get off the train and all of a sudden you find yourself going down a bad, unhealthy road, you got to pivot and come back. So sure, you can chill for a while. You just can't chill for 30 or 40 years because you're not going to last that long.
You can't coast through this phase of life. That's what we found anyway.
Right. Now, if you're new here, I'm Mark, and this is my wife, Jody.
And we don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement, but rather your lifestyle, your health, your relationships, and more.
So do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button. That way you get notified when we have a new video. But more importantly, if you're enjoying this video and our channel, please share it with other people who are on the same journey as you, that you care about, so they can get all of our videos and take advantage of all the learning that we're doing here too. Teaching.
Now, if I were to recap the last couple years of both of our careers, I would say this. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
We ate out a lot. We drank quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We never found time for exercise or working out. And we were really putting everyone else first. We still had a lot of, younger kids, early, college, late high school years. And I would say for me, I don't know if this is true for you, but for me, it was zero self-care.
Yeah, I don't think it was zero. I'm pretty good, and you say this, I'm pretty good at taking care of myself.
You are.
I'm pretty good at putting myself first sometimes. But at that stage in life, I think we were putting ourselves first, but not in a healthy way. We were really just embracing the fact that we left our careers, we were chilling out, we were having a good time, and we thought that's what you're supposed to do. But we did get into trouble, and we had to pivot and fix it. And a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, we've stopped doing. I mean, it's just, we really have stopped doing it. It's made a huge difference in our life, because if you don't and the other shoe drops, for us, we both gained weight, we had hangovers every day, and we didn't have any routine.
Yeah.
We just kind of got up and let each day unfold.
And really, this video is to enforce to you all, kind of what happened to us on our way through this journey and what we really don't want to have happen to you. You don't want to have yourself make a change because you're in a crisis, right? A health crisis or a relationship crisis or something like that. We want you to think about these things as proactive steps you can do to leave some of these bad habits and routines behind.
So, Down below, there's a free download, downsizing guide. And the reason we put that in there, one of the things that we think it's really important to do when you do retire at some point is to get a fresh start in your home because it can feel clean, invigorating. So the downsizing guide is the link below. So download that and take a look at it. And we want you to stay to the end of this video because we're going to share with you the 5 things that we left behind for sure, the critical things that we left behind, and also the 5 things that we do to have fun. Because we do have fun, right?
We do. Okay, so let's jump in. Today we're going to give you a list of important things to leave behind as you retire. The first one seems kind of obvious and relatively easy, and that would be worrying about work. Think of all the years that you spent worrying about your work, your clients, your customers, your teammates, products, services, whatever line of business you were in. Retirement is now your time to step away from any work-related stress and rediscover what makes you happy.
You know, I called this morning an old colleague who retired in, I don't know, last September, October. Hadn't talked to her in a couple of years. She's 66, year behind me. We're almost the same age. I guess she turns the same age as me this year. She left because it just became too much, the stress of the day-to-day grind. And she said that she has now this mindset of openness and freedom where she can think about anything she wants to do, spend time with her kids and her grandkids, and she doesn't worry about the office anymore. And she used to worry all the time.
I think this is, it's a relatively easy concept to get your head around, right? Leave work behind. Well, you're no longer working, so everyone checks the box. That's easy. But think about how much of your identity was tied to worrying about work. How much of your identity was tied to, I'm so stressed, I'm so busy. And if a good portion of your identity was tied to that, this is a big transition.
It is. Plus, well, I don't think we're talking about today because when you do, you're not worrying about work anymore, but you do leave behind some relationships, some good habits, some routines. So that's a bit of a problem. But the good thing is you're not worrying about work anymore, and you need to let that go.
Yeah,
I think when you
leave it behind.
Hit retirement, if you're still worrying about your clients, still worrying about what's happening at the office, you can't embrace this phase of life.
I did that for a while. I spent time staying very connected to my leadership team when I left my position at Chubb. What I found difficult about that, even though I love mentoring and I love helping people and solving problems, I was now only hearing one side of the story. I don't know if you remember me going through that. So if I would have a manager call me about a big problem, but I was no longer in the mix, so I was reacting to one side of the story, and I actually had to cut that tie because I didn't think it was fair to the clients or the business or the people I was mentoring. So that big bucket of worrying about work, you got to really find a way to let it go.
Well, plus it wasn't fair to you either because you found yourself now spending time worrying about this person and her new boss and whatever it is. And you're like, how's that helpful?
Yeah, so
unless
that's a
you
big
were going to
bucket.
start a coaching business.
Yeah.
But the second big thing to leave behind is overcommitting to obligations. And in your career, like we didn't have control of our calendars.
Right.
So people would put stuff in there and we just had to do it. And whether it was events at night, dinners with clients, nonprofit events, other meetings, educational things, our life at work was kind of dictated by other people. So leaving that behind, well, you left all that behind, but getting into retirement and overcommitting to things is not a good thing to do.
No, but it's easy to do. You now have friends and family that might look at you and look at your schedule and say, well, you're not working. I can ask you to do these 5 or 6 things or watch the kids or watch the grandkids or step into my place, at a nonprofit event, a school event, something like that. I think it's easy for retirees to still continue to overcommit.
It is.
And it's something that we're both working on with this idea of setting boundaries for different commitments and walling things off. Mm-hmm. I mean, even with this business Retirement Transformed, I always tell Mark, I don't work on Fridays.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find myself working on a Friday because our schedule has dictated it, but
guess what today is?
I know, today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
But I try really hard on this idea of not overcommitting.
Yeah, and what you have to do is commit to those things that you care about, where you enjoy the time doing it, and it gives you fulfillment. So we spend some time doing this. We spend time golfing, we spend time boating, we spend time walking on the beach, just going to the beach, reading books. It's and we're really strict with our calendar too. So we plan out our days and our weeks ahead of time.
Right.
And we had a big wedding this past weekend, and we overcommitted, but we overcommitted to things we wanted to do. We had a lot of stuff going on with all of our kids, and that's okay. We were tired at the end,
right?
But we're overcommitting to things that we wanted to do. Setting boundaries is hard for us. That's new for us, but we're getting better at it.
All right, the third thing to leave behind is this whole idea, and we started with a story about how Mark and I jumped into retirement and continue to neglect our health. And, your health is your wealth this phase of life, especially in retirement, making it really crucial to prioritize your health more than ever.
I find that men in particular have a tough time admitting they don't feel well and or going to the doctor. I don't know why that is, but we've made the big switch. We are super proactive now with our health. Our annual physical's coming up. You just scheduled it yesterday in May. We're getting blood work done. We have a naturopath doctor. What blood work does she want done? We're kind of excited about going there to see how we're feeling.
Although we're not perfect, because you have a heart doctor you haven't seen.
That's true.
I'm in need of a mammogram this month. So, we're still a work in progress on this because of other priorities that get in the way. But this is one that I think we keep front and center. We could do a better job.
Well, we can always do a better job at everything. We're not perfect. We're not the perfect retiree couple. But we learn a lot, and we implement a lot, and we practice a lot, everything that we talk to you about. Some things we can't do. We do videos on solo retirees. We're not solo retirees. And we get great comments on those videos, and we get some other comments like, you guys aren't solo retirees. You're right. But as far as health, that applies to everybody. Yeah. We all can do a better job of making sure we're eating, getting our sleep, seeing the doctor, seeing a dentist, seeing the heart doctor, whatever it is. And, if there's any kind of warning signs, we have to
acknowledge
attention.
them. Yeah, definitely. Part of that whole health and wellness thing too is just exploring new diets that promote longevity and vitality, and really listening to your body. As you age, your body changes. You need more of some things and less of other things. So I think this is a time where this whole health bucket can grow and really be something that is exciting to focus on as you get older.
Well, the other thing, just to close this out, neglecting your health, we're both getting really good and better at recognizing how we feel. How we feel when we eat meat, how we feel when we don't eat meat, how we feel when we have too much sugar, how we feel if we drink a Diet Coke at lunch. Well, we're now paying attention to how we feel and what it does to us. How does our sleep and all of that. So That's been really helpful for me to make the changes I need to make. I'm really paying attention to how I feel.
Right.
The other thing that you don't want to leave behind is...
No, that you do want to leave behind.
Well, I'm going to say it a different way.
Okay.
Social connections are really important in this phase of life. So you don't want to ignore social connections from back in the day that really could be people that can have a positive effect on your life. You just can't ignore these people. You really want to make sure you're connecting with them or new people, right?
Absolutely.
Old friendships, new friendships.
I can remember being, a working mom with a big job and a lot of kids, and my friendships were either work friends or the kids' parents' friends, or the kids' friends' parents. There we go. And I never really had time to go out and join groups or meet people that were, in the same, nonprofit as I was, following my passion, meeting neighbors. I was always friendly, but I didn't have a lot of friends because I worked and I, had all these kids. So now is the time to really enhance those social connections.
It's funny. My book just came out a month ago, The Evolving Man, Life Virtues That Men Don't Talk About. And it's been on LinkedIn and Facebook. It's only been a month. But all of a sudden, I'm getting emails and text messages from people from my previous life and my career who said, "Oh my God, I saw you wrote a book.
Right.
I bought the book. I read the book. Oh, that was awesome." So these new people are surfacing up again. Just yesterday, I got a message on LinkedIn from a competitor of mine that we had a great relationship in the insurance business, and we banged up against each other, and we had a really good mutual respect for each other. But I'm going to call him this week and have a chat. I haven't talked to him in 10 years.
That's great.
So I think opening up this whole idea of seeking out previous social connections is really important. And I think you definitely don't want to ignore it.
Right. Okay, the next thing to leave behind is this whole resistance to change. You know, as people age, they get more and more kind of set in their ways, set in their patterns, and they're not apt to actually make big changes. But retirement is a significant life change. So embracing it can fully lead to personal growth and more fulfillment in the coming years.
I mean, if we paid attention, we'd certainly pay attention. But we've done several hundred videos on retirement and lifestyle and physical wellness and mental wellness. All of that requires change. So we're the opposite of resisting change. We're embracing change. We're trying all sorts of new things. And we don't like everything.
Right.
But we're trying. We're open to trying just about anything except tofu.
Why won't you try tofu?
I don't know.
It's soybean.
Jonathan, our son Jonathan and grandson, I almost tried it. They eat tofu like crazy.
Jonathan eats it? I think he just gives it to the kids.
Luca eats it.
Luca and
Camilo. I think.
But I don't think Johnny eats it.
I've been resisting that. I think I have to try it.
Put it in a shake.
Let's have it for lunch.
Okay.
Tofu sandwich.
There we go.
So, get in the mindset of seeking out experiences, new food, new habits, things that challenge you mentally and physically. I mean, the gym that we go to now, it's hard.
It is hard.
And I just worked out in the garage before that. I was like, I worked out. No, this is hard.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really taken a while to embrace it, but I know I feel a difference. But it took a lot of courage for us to join this boot camp.
Absolutely.
All right. Something that you definitely want to leave behind, 100%, is holding on to any grudges. It just doesn't serve you at all. I mean, if there's any conflicts in your past, you've got to find a way to let go of them, which is going to allow you emotional freedom and new, healthier, better relationships.
Yeah, finding in this stage of life that, everyone makes mistakes. So maybe some of those past mistakes that you were really holding a grudge against, maybe it's leading to unnecessary stress and it's causing more problems than it is giving you anything, right? Holding on to grudges. Forgiveness really opens the door to peace and happiness. Mark is a much better forgiver than I am. So this was one that I really struggled with because growing up in a Fortune 200 company from the 80s through, 2020 and beyond was there was a lot of grudges I could have held for a lot of people who, maybe weren't the most supportive during my career. But I run into them now or I see them on social media and, I realize how much of that was in the past.
Sometimes we talk about our superpowers, yours, mine. We should do a video on that. What is your superpower? One of mine is forgiveness. And for me, carrying around, my dad was not good with that. He would carry around grudges.
Right.
He took many grudges to his grave. That was his choice. That's fine. It's not fine for me. It's like an old suitcase you carry around. It's really heavy. It's got a rusty handle and it's awful to look at. I think letting go of grudges just, like you said, it's not easy for everybody.
No, it isn't.
When you learn how to do it, it's almost like a muscle where you actually have to exercise to get better at it and feel okay giving the person forgiveness or yourself forgiveness, so.
One of the next things that we feel was really important for us to embrace, and you can tell by the business that we started, so many times in our career when a new system would be implemented, whether it was a sales system or a logistics system or a staffing system, a people management system, when new technology came in, our first impulse was to kind of throw our hands to our head and try to ignore it. But in retirement, you have to let go of that first reaction to ignore new technology. Embracing technology enhances connectivity and access to more information for you, and it helps you stay connected to loved ones. So, I mean, you really have to find a way to embrace technology.
Yeah, certainly we all carry around now a computer in our hand. So we have it. I mean, if you have a flip phone, God bless you, that's great. But I have an iPhone, and it is a full-fledged computer.
Right.
More of a computer than the first one I had, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago maybe. But the whole idea of new technology, for instance, even artificial intelligence, is now woven into everything and anything that we do. It's popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. It's a fascinating technology, and if you haven't been on the internet and tried ChatGPT or something like that and ask it a question, you'll be blown away by how you get the answers back. We all know Google if you're searching for something, but gosh, this whole AI thing, you can't ignore it. You really can't. And whether you embrace it or not, it's always good to test it. Try it so that you're kept up to speed. I don't know what your thought is
It's
on
also
that.
fun to play. Mark is deep into AI. I kind of play around the edges with some of the creatives around it. You can ask it to draw different things
Yeah.
or pull forward a picture or activate so many creative sides. I know you like to test it by asking, George Washington a question or Mother Teresa a question,
Yeah.
and it pulls from all the responses that it has, right? But it's a little scary.
It is.
It's a little scary.
The person I was just talking to today who retired last year said she's a little scared of it. She's worried it's going to replace people. Well, I think that's some old thinking. There's always, robots are here and all of that. There's always going to be a place for humans. But I just think ignoring new technology as you enter retirement is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really need to be open to test it and try it. We talked earlier about your health. I think underneath that, it's really critical to make sure you're getting regular checkups. You can say, well, I feel fine. I haven't been to the doctor in 5 years. It's okay. No, that's BS. At our age, you need to go every single year. You need to go to the dentist at least once a year. You need to go to your GP. You need to go, for me, I have cardiologist. You need to see him or her once a year. This whole idea of preventive care can save your life. Our son, Markham, we've talked about him before. He's diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, colorectal cancer. And he wasn't feeling well, and he went to the doctor to get a checkup, and after 3 or 4 visits, because he kept pushing, saying, something's not right, something's not right, something's not right, he found it at the age of 39. So you have to make sure you're going to see your doctor.
Yeah. And, just remember, discussions with your doctor can lead to healthier lifestyle choices. And even, with Markham and even with the girls and, our other children, I'm all about just understand the information. Going to the doctor is gathering information. If you have the information, you have the power to make your own decisions. Okay. So the next thing to leave behind, sticking only to familiar places. When we were working, I know, we lived outside of New York and, we would do all of our appointments either in New York or outside New York or upstate New York. And we stayed relatively, pretty commonplace in the Northeast. We didn't explore new environments that would help us with fresh experiences and perspectives. And we'll tell you in retirement that travel really can broaden your horizons and understanding of different cultures. I think it's an important thing to include, an activity, even if it's not like a faraway place, but like exploring unfamiliar places is important.
Yeah, I mean, from here we are in Florida, there are so many places within an hour or two drive that we can go to, that we have gone to, nature preserves, the place with the alligators, really.
Even just other cities. I was talking to a neighbor across the street and he said, where were you guys this week? And I said, we were up in Tampa for a wedding. He said, I've never been to Tampa.
Tampa's amazing.
I said, and I said, have you ever been to Sarasota? He said, nope. I said, have you been to Longboat Key, Siesta Key? I said, okay. Have you been to Miami? He said, you know what? We come to Marco and we just stay in Marco. And I said, Jeff, I mean, Florida is a great place to discover new places, the Keys, all these things. And you could drive. I mean, it
You
doesn't have
can.
to be jump on a plane and go far away, although that's fun
I mean,
too.
it might seem ridiculous, but you could go to Miami and leave here. We're up early, so we can leave here really early and be there by 10 o'clock and spend 4 hours going out to lunch, walking on the beach, whatever, and coming back.
Right.
It's only 2 hours.
It also
So-
just helps you meet new people and expand your social network, try out new museums that you might kind of spark a hobby or,
Well,
just navigate those
New
unfamiliar
restaurants,
places.
new
Yeah.
places to go have coffee. We found the greatest coffee shop, and you hang out in this coffee shop. We're outside with Ruby, so people always want to come over. We're always meeting new people.
Yeah.
So when you get out of your comfort zone, you get out of going to the same familiar places, you're going to meet new people. So one of the things you definitely want to leave behind is, or not leave behind, you want letting go of structured learning. So during our career, we had a lot of structured learning. Right? Lifelong learning should be part of your retirement. We have learned so much about running a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought we'd do something like this, but we have a lot of we watch YouTube channels, other channels to learn how to do certain things. We learn how to cook by watching YouTube. I mean, I think that we both trying to think what else we spend time with structured learning. I mean, you went back to college.
I did.
You got your
Yeah.
not MBA, but you got.
I think the real purpose to this idea of letting go of structured learning is that lifelong learning should be flexible and fun and aligned with your passions. So I went back to the University of Pennsylvania and jumped in to get a certificate in applied positive psychology because I was interested in it. I spent years taking insurance courses, risk management courses, actuarial courses, Was I super interested? No, but it paid the bills. So you kind of do what you do.
And you had to do it. Your company required you to do certain things.
And now, though, learning at your own pace, whether it's learning a new language through Rosetta Stone or one of those platforms, or, taking a local course at a community college, the exciting thing is you don't have to be in a structured environment. You can learn it through social groups or connecting with like-minded learners. And just do it kind of more flexible and fun.
Well, I go online a lot to learn how to use ChatGPT because it changes every day and every week. So it's constantly evolving and you can do more with it. And there's more additional apps you can add to it to do certain things. But I love learning.
Well, this is a time of life when we should be learning as much as we can because quite frankly, we should have the time for it. And it's good for the brain. It's good to exercise
well, it's
your
good
mind.
socially. I mean, I love chatting with other people about what we're learning. And they say, like, why are you spending so much time learning? Well, why not? What else are we going to do? We're not going to sit around and watch TV for 38 hours a week, which is what the average number of hours people over the age of 65 spend watching TV is 38 hours. I don't think that's learning unless you're doing 38 hours of documentaries.
Maybe.
And you can mix it in with some other stuff. But just learning a new hobby, a new habit, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, we want to remind you to stay to the end because we're going to share with you the 5 things we left behind and the 5 things that we do to have fun. This is fun, right?
So the next thing, that we want to talk about is kind of a big bucket. So during our careers, from the day I started with Chubb in June 8th, 1987, wow, I'm really dating myself. I started financial planning for my retirement, right? As soon as I could, I was 401k, I was getting stock, I was, really building up my nest egg. But did I actually spend time financial planning? I would say I did a pretty good job, but I avoided it.
Yeah.
Now in retirement, you really can't avoid financial planning because financial health is essential for a stress-free retirement. A clear plan, a proper plan that prevents, you from outliving your savings, allows you to better manage for unexpected expenses. You just have to digest that. So all those years of avoiding financial planning or having it just kind of happen automatically, that's what I did in a big company. I just let that, how much do you want to contribute to your 401k, increase it every year, every chance you can. But now in retirement, you have to actively financial plan. You have to really work on it.
Yes, 100%. You probably spent a good portion of your life accumulating wealth so that you could afford to retire.
Right.
And not everybody can afford to retire. Many people still need to work to have some supplemental income to get through this phase of life. But you spend all of this time accumulating money, and let's say you did a good job financial planning. That doesn't mean that financial planning stops,
Right.
because now you're going to spend the rest of your life decumulating all this money. How much should you take out? How do you integrate with Social Security? What about your pension? What about extra money for your kids? How does all this fit? Making sure you have enough if you don't have long-term care insurance. What if you get sick? So this is another important phase of life. You can't just say, okay, I retired, I have enough money, I'm good. No, you have to stay on top of it.
Yeah, and we should stick a link below for the new retirement
Oh, yeah, we'll do
platform.
that. Good idea.
So we would recommend this platform, and we'll stick a link below to help you put some scenarios in place for your financial planning.
Yeah, we don't do financial planning, but we know
Right.
it's important, and it's important to you. So this is a platform that has a dashboard that links all your bank accounts and everything, and you can run scenarios. What if I sell my house? What if I
Right.
get a new mortgage?
What if I move to a state that
Yes,
doesn't?
yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing that you want to really make sure that you're getting better at, maybe during your career you weren't really good at getting help, those days are over. Now is the time in retirement to stop resisting getting assistance. If you need help with quality of life, if you need help with your technology, if you need help with home modifications, you need to get help so that it gets done. It's just not fair to yourself to live a life where you can't really work your phone, your door doesn't close, your bathtub leaks, all of this stuff. You really need to be okay getting some help.
Well, I also think it's not just stuff and things that you can get help with. I mean, you can get help if this transition's been really hard on you, and professionally you want to go talk to someone to give you some counseling on how to make the transition after losing the identity you had for all those years. Now is the time to reach out and find a professional to help you even on those mindset hurdles.
Yeah, and we use professionals in our relationship.
Yeah.
We have no problem reaching out to someone saying, we're having trouble with this, we're having trouble with that, I got an issue with one of my kids, what do you think? We have professionals all the time that we talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be afraid of that.
No, absolutely
Even if
not.
it's a good friend. I mean, get help from friends. It's not anything you should be embarrassed about.
Now, I love this next one, maintaining a cluttered space. Okay, so during my career, I don't know about you guys, but I would do laundry, and I had, sometimes 5 or 6 kids under the roof, but definitely the 3 girls when they were all in high school playing sports. I mean, just keeping up with laundry. I would actually, and you actually made a comment yesterday or this morning, I would actually do my laundry, put it in the basket, and then I'd work out of the basket all week. And then I would do the laundry again, and I'd put it in the basket, and I'd work out of the basket all week. During retirement, I don't have the headspace to see all that clutter anymore because I'm in my space more often. So a decluttered space reflects your decluttered mind, promoting some tranquility and satisfaction in your space. I never quite honestly had time for that before, but now I feel like I don't want my laundry in a basket. I mean, we got into an argument the other day because before I left for the gym, I said to Mark, would you like me to move my laundry from the washer to the dryer so you can get yours started? And he said, no, not a big deal. And I said, well, the reason is some of my dresses don't go in the dryer. Mm-hmm. Oh, no big deal.
What?
I came home from, now remember, I'm doing really good about not living in a cluttered space. I came home from the gym. All my wet laundry is sitting in the dryer. My dress is all balled up. Everything's just wet and in the dryer. And I said to Mark, come on, man, you couldn't have waited. I need to just hang a few dresses up. I was willing to do it this morning because when I do my laundry, I like to do it start to finish. So anyway,
how did we get onto laundry habits?
Well, but just
We're
because
talking about
of it,
a decluttered space.
But when your spouse jumps in and does your laundry, it clutters my space.
I will never.
So
touch
I'm going
your
on
laundry
record
again.
to say don't touch.
And
my
I'm
stuff.
going on record, never touching your laundry again. But don't get in the way of my cycle. Listen, the thing you said a minute ago really made me think that during our careers, it was okay to have cluttered space because we didn't have time to clean it up.
We were coming in on two wheels.
Coming in on two wheels to cook dinner and then to clean up. And we barely got through everything we needed to do, including at work. So now it's a little bit of a game for us. We like things neat and tidy, and doing laundry is one of those things where it's one of those things in life that you just have to do.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could wave a magic wand. But we do our laundry, we put it on bed, we fold it, we put it away.
But
and it makes a difference.
Right, because it's important to make your living space more functional. You're in it more often. A tidy environment definitely promotes, just kind of an uncluttered head.
Right.
So declutter, you have to get on top of that.
So when you're in your career and you're busy, like we just described, probably like us for sure, we neglected creative pursuits. We neglected some things that we wanted to do to be creative, that stimulates our brain and nourishes the soul, because we were too busy. But even like creative hobbies, you've talked so much about painting and you've dabbled in it. I honestly think I'm happy to get you another whole set of ink and brushes and easels and little things.
During our career, in the height of my career, busy, kids, college, not college, high school, me traveling all over the place. One year for Christmas.
Well, you dropped the bomb and said, God, I really wish I'd like to start painting again. That's all I needed. I put it in the back of the head. And for Christmas, what happened?
You get everything I touched, everything I opened was all about painting. And you know how much time I had to paint? 0.
But you haven't done it in retirement
I haven't.
either. It's not a negative comment.
No.
It's just that, so now we have free time. If you've got something that you've always wanted to do from a creative point of view, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't stay in this old mindset of, I don't have time, I don't really want to do it. I mean, your neighbor Jen across the street paints, does pottery.
Yeah, she does great.
You have to carve out time. You have
Yeah.
to be intentional. And
Right.
again, we don't expect you to do all of the things we're talking about today. Like Jody said in the beginning, we hope you're writing some things down, and then you'll say, you know what, I've always wanted to paint. And if that's what you got out of this video, that's great.
The next big bucket of what you need to leave behind is staying indoors. I don't know how many times during my career I went from my house to my garage to my car to my office in a garage, into my office, work all day, back in the garage at the office, back to my garage at the house, and back into the house with no outdoor time.
Right.
And I think that was so debilitating for my soul. Sunlight is a natural source of vitamin D, and being in nature is definitely going to reduce stress and anxiety. So now is the time to explore outdoor exercises and being outside more.
So we have a dog, Ruby, puppy. She's in here somewhere,
She's
sleeping. We used to have 2 dogs during our career, and we had an electric fence in the backyard. So we would open the door first thing in the morning, let the dogs out till they could do their business, come back in. Meanwhile, we're having our coffee, getting the kids ready for school, whatever. Like you said, down in the bat cave, get in the
Right.
car, go to work. Now, it's kind of like a battle. I wouldn't say it's a battle, but we both like to walk Ruby outside because
You like to walk, Ruby? This is news to me.
well, when you go to the gym, I do. Every 5 days a week, I take her out for her morning constitution.
You
and
do.
I say hello to Mrs. Williams and Mrs. Fabrisham and Jimmy and Bobby. I love being outside now. We sit outside a lot when we're working. We take breaks and we sit outside. This idea of, if we could video outside, I would.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
It doesn't work. But to Jody's point, we spent a lot of time during our career inside.
Yeah, we got to leave that behind.
Got to leave it behind and come outside. And listen, the other thing is just walking around is exercise. We have our Aura rings. We keep track of our steps. We try to get 10,000 steps a day. We get vitamin D, which you really need, natural vitamin D. I'm stuttering again.
You are.
I know, what's up? And nature really inspires us a little bit. So walking around, not just here, but on the beach with the waves coming in, and walking on the trails where all the alligators are.
Or if you're in, an environment where it's cold and you have snow, we used to cross-country ski, telemarking, downhill skiing.
Telemarking?
Have you ever telemarked?
No.
I have.
You have? When?
With Polly Roten.
Polly Roden. Is that it? Your an old boyfriend?
No, she was a woman,
Oh, okay.
but she was very good at
That's
it.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, skiing, snowshoeing,
Yeah,
whatever.
but
it
you
might
can
be.
still do some outdoor things, even outdoor paddle tennis.
Well,
in the Northeast.
When you're going to say to the end, we're going to tell you about the 5 things we left behind, but the 5 things we do to have fun, I'm adding telemarketing. Telemarketing.
It's not telemarketing.
Telemarketing skiing.
Okay,
I
go.
can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
I want to see a picture. Here's a biggie to leave behind. Have to leave this behind. And I struggled with it. Eating unhealthy. I was the worst. All during my career, fast foods, McDonald's, Burger King, deli in the morning, bacon, egg on a roll. I was always on the move. I didn't have the luxury, like we do now, to get up, go to the gym, come back and have oatmeal, nuts, and berries. Or avocado toast or something like that. We all have to make a huge effort to eat healthy in retirement.
Yeah.
We have time. There's no excuse. Absolutely none.
Yeah. I mean, meal prep, should be easier. We should be able to put some healthy snacks, in the fridge, a balanced diet, a new type of diet, introducing new types of foods or, plant-based proteins, whatever your thing is. Even cooking at home, we enjoy cooking at home when we make it kind of a fun and creative activity, which during our careers, literally cooking was primarily just to eat, like just get something on the table so we can kind of keep getting through the day. So I think eating healthy in retirement is something to really embrace.
The idea of cooking for some people really is hard.
Right.
It's a chore. They don't enjoy it. Tell you, if you start watching some YouTube episodes on the joy of cooking, let's say, when you start learning how to maybe prep a little bit easier and make it fun, you need a sharp knife as an example. If you're trying to cut an onion with a dull knife, it's not going to be fun. So make it a game. Just each of you, Maddie and Ben.
Nope. Jordan and Derek
Maddie,
cooked for us.
No, Maddie and Ben live in
Austin, Texas.
Austin. Each week they try a new recipe and they cook it together. Every Monday night, they say, over the weekend they pick a recipe and they're going to cook it together. And they're really having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, they are.
They both share in the prep, they share in cooking, they're learning a lot of stuff, they're using YouTube videos. Make that fun. That's how you can eat healthy. And if you make a big meal on a Monday night, you have leftovers for 2 or 3 days.
I thought you were going to say Jordan and Derek because there are 2 kids. When they come to visit us, they always shop one day, cook for us, where we get dressed up and they do a 5-course meal, and they really enjoy that.
Right.
And they like cooking healthy.
Well, you listen, a lot of people in retirement go out to eat every night. And they have lunch out every day. Or they have a big lunch and then a small dinner. That's really unhealthy.
Well, a big lunch and a small dinner is not unhealthy.
No, but the food out at the delicatessens of the restaurants, they cook with a lot of salt. They give it flavor. They cook with perhaps not the healthiest oil. So you can't control what you're eating when you're going out to eat a lot. It's bad for you. I mean, it is.
The next big bucket to leave behind is just this idea of living in the past. Focusing on the present allows you to enjoy and make the most of your retirement. It's okay to cherish your memories, but embrace your new experiences. Living in the moment improves your mental well-being exponentially. The present can offer more opportunities for growth and learning. And even though creating memories today are things you'll remember maybe this time next year, always try to put yourself in the present. I don't know how sometimes we do that. Sometimes we're in the past still.
So
I mean, you stay tied to communities in the past better than I do.
And I'm not sure if that's good or not.
Yeah.
I mean, we're flying up to New York next week for an event, and we haven't been connected to that community in 10 years. So, do we keep going back to that? We love it. It's a good time. But I think living in the past is more about just not opening up new opportunities, not meeting new people, not trying new things, because you're hanging on to what you used to do.
Right.
Who's I used to? Who do we call used to?
Your dad.
My dad.
Mm-hmm.
He entered his retirement And everything, unfortunately for him, was living in the past. He used to go to Rotary Club. He used to be president of Kiwanis. He used to belong to this certain golf club. He used to be the CEO of our company. He lived in the past.
Right.
We're all about new stuff, exciting things, learning, growing, trying new places, trying new restaurants, trying new recipes. And you have to let go of the past and just say to yourself, okay, I had a wonderful past. It was great. But it's prepared me for today.
Right.
So what did you learn in the past that you can use to catapult yourself in retirement to make it the best phase of your life ever? All right, one of the things, and I don't know if we do this well enough or not. I'm going to say we don't. But what you need to do in retirement is find a way to laugh more. Laugh at each other, laugh together, watch a comedy, get light, don't be so serious. I was always so serious. Laughter is an amazingly powerful tool for happiness and for your health.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. You
Do
know,
we laugh enough as a couple?
I don't know. I mean, we are still super busy, especially with this business.
Right.
We'd like to say it's 10 to 20 hours a week. It depends on the week. So I think we could add more light moments, more kind of carefree laughter, you know, to help us navigate some of the challenges that come our way with the business and with clients and, you know, with, you know, your book and all the things that we're juggling, because it's definitely a natural mood booster when you laugh. I mean, I get like my brother's coming to visit, and for some reason, you know, his little sayings and
look at the smile that just came on my face.
He just makes me laugh like all the time.
So we need to spend more time with your brother.
Yes, I would love.
I actually thought of calling him this morning, and I didn't, and I should have. I regret that I didn't do that. But we're going out to dinner tonight with friends of ours. I know we're gonna laugh.
Oh yeah.
And we're going out to dinner tonight and tomorrow night.
I know.
2 different couples, and I know we're gonna laugh, and I'm excited about that.
Tomorrow night there's 4 couples. I mean, 2 different couples.
Yeah. So I think that finding time to purposefully laugh at this phase of life is critical.
Absolutely.
I mean, even, you know, if we're having a stressful day and things aren't going that well, or on each other's nerves, which happens with any couple, I would imagine, we have to laugh it off.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I just start making fun of you a little bit more. Is that helpful? No? No, but I think this is an important topic.
Absolutely.
To bring into retirement, laughter. Make it light.
You know, during our careers, this next bucket, Mark actually brought into our lives during our careers. I kind of didn't jump on board, but, you know, during my career, I definitely overlooked this idea of mindfulness and meditation and how important it is to incorporate that into your routine and into your life to help you with mental clarity and emotional balance. Now is the time to stop overlooking mindfulness and meditation because it's important. It improves your quality of sleep and your relaxation, can encourage a deeper connection with yourself. And we talk a lot about like really getting to know yourself in this phase of life. And mindfulness and meditation is a good way to do that. You
know, I was thinking this morning, I don't know why, but I was thinking this morning, I was texting my son, Christopher, tell him I feel a little stressed, a little wound up, a little overwhelmed with some stuff going on in my life. And I think what I'm thinking about is that I'm turning 67 in a couple weeks. 67. So I feel as if the next 15 years of my life are really important. I want to get it right. I want to, on my 80th birthday, say, you know what? I crushed life so far. So I'm crushing it right now, but I think I've got this thing going on in my head, but my meditation and my mindfulness is helping me not get overwhelmed with this whole idea about it. Like I'm just thinking, okay, what does that mean? I write a lot of stuff down. I have my journal. You know, what does the next 15 years mean to me? What does it mean to us? But the meditation helps me from going down all these friggin' rabbit holes and getting stressed out and all of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely.
So anyway, you got to bring mindfulness into your life. You should bring it. I'm going to say should because I believe everyone should meditate. There, I said it. One of the things you want to make sure that you start doing or leave behind is, during our career, we were pretty good about community engagement with nonprofits and things like that. But if you weren't and you were too busy and you had no time for it, you've now got in retirement multiple hours each day that you can use to apply towards volunteering, getting involved with politics, getting involved with community affairs. It'll give you a sense of belonging and purpose. There's a presidential election coming up this year. Maybe get involved in that. Maybe you're really passionate about that. Use the opportunity you have to share knowledge and experience. The YMCA down the street has all these community meetings all the time when they need speakers. If you've got something that you're really good at and smart about that people our age would be interested in, maybe you should look into it.
Yeah, it's a great time and opportunity to share knowledge and experience for sure, which will have a positive mental impact on your health and your social support. So we can't kind of promote enough this idea of community engagement at this stage of the game.
Yeah, plus you're going to meet people, you're going to have new connections, new friendships. It's always going to help your mental health. When you know you have a luncheon coming up, you go there, you come back, and you share the experience.
Yeah.
You've got your group of women you do your Bible study with. That really is important to you now,
yeah.
And you're really enjoying it.
I am. As promised, here are the 5 things we left behind and the 5 things that we're now currently doing to have fun.
Our busy work schedule. And people would say, well, you're still working in retirement. We are.
I say that sometimes.
Well, we are.
Because we're still pretty busy.
Well, but I think everyone should have some form of work or volunteering in this phase of life. I don't know what I would be doing with the 10 to 15, sometimes 20 hours a week that we spend or I spend in this business. I don't know what I'd be doing because I'm already spending 20 hours spending time with you, playing golf, walking the dog. I don't know what I would do. What would you do?
I would go to the gym in the morning, and when I came home, I would take Ruby on a really long walk, and then I would shower, and then I would... Oh, you don't really want to know that I could fill my day?
No.
Oh, I could.
That's why I should do this alone. You know what? Leave a comment. Does everyone think it'd be okay if Jody got off the YouTube channel?
Well, I'm just saying, I think it depends on who you are as a person. I don't think I need to work because I have so many interests that I've found over the past 5 years of being retired that I could fill my day for sure.
Well, but we left behind, for sure, the old school busy work schedule where we flew out of the house at 7 and sometimes got home at 8 o'clock at night. We don't do that.
Right.
We left that behind.
Yeah, we did.
Second thing that we left behind is watching the news in the morning. And we don't flip the news on. I'll look at my phone real quick and see what's happening. But we used to watch the news from 6 o'clock to 7:30. On weekends we'd watch it more. We'd watch the same 30-minute newsreel like
it would
4
be the
times.
same cycle, really.
We just stopped. And that's, that has opened up for us time to sit and chat for half an hour, time to go to the gym. So that's a big thing for us that we stopped doing.
We also stopped, obviously, commuting and traveling for work. There were so many times that I was betwixt and between with my commute and or having to be somewhere else and managing the stress and the balance of what I was leaving at home and where I was going. So we definitely left that behind. The 4th thing we left behind is bad habits of poor eating. I think we've done an exceptionally good job of transitioning from our bad habits to better habits when it comes to
eating.
eating.
It might seem trite, like, oh, good for you. I'm telling you, this was hard for me. I mean, my bad habits of eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chinese food, McDonald's, chocolate chip cookies, Oreo cookies, lots of beer. I mean, I was the king of poor eating. It was the way I was brought up. I was brought up on comfort food. So it was really hard for me to make the transition. I now eat things that if my parents were alive, they'd look at me and go, what the hell's the matter with you? Why are you eating that? I mean, I joked about tofu a few minutes ago. You know what? I should try it.
You should try it.
So this idea, if you're sitting listening to us thinking, this is hard for me, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It was one of the hardest things I had to do.
It was harder for you than it was for me.
It was harder for me. There was that and learning how to meditate was hard.
Right.
But I'm so grateful that I did both. And you were my inspiration for better eating. I mean, you basically just didn't allow me to have cookies in the house. So, all right.
The fifth thing that we left behind for sure was this excuse of just not working out because there was no time. Both Mark and I used the "there's no time" for a lot of activities that we should have been doing, but it was an easy out just to blame time. Now we have the time, and I think we're working out, and I wouldn't say we're in better shape than we've ever been in our life, but we're definitely in better shape than we were when we were working.
I think I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my life. I'm going to go on record and say that. My weight is good, my muscle's bigger, my energy's higher. I'm not drinking, so that makes me feel better. I'm sleeping pretty good, better than I used to.
Yeah.
I'm exercising 5 days a week. I'm eating better. I think I'm in great shape for 66 going on 67.
Well, that's good.
At 30...
Pat yourself on the
At
back
30,
there, kid.
At 30,
work.
At 30 years old, I was 15 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Not overweight now, am I?
No, you're
All right.
You're great.
So, how about having fun? What is our 5 things that we do together to have fun?
Together or alone?
Both.
Okay.
Either or.
All right.
First thing is, we do really now enjoy playing golf together. That was not a thing we had time for.
No.
I was a big golfer my whole career
Right.
with my kids. And you did it for work.
Right.
But now we actually play together and we enjoy it. And you're getting so much better. I mean, you're in
I'm
your
enjoying
own league.
it.
But we do enjoy, we're playing Saturday, and that's fun for us.
Absolutely. The next thing is, healthy cooking and cooking lessons with a Mediterranean focus. We've really jumped into the idea of a Mediterranean diet and cooking things that are different each week, but have the same kind of good core properties of, vitamins and nutrients for us, especially the leafy greens.
So the third thing that we do to have fun, and this might sound a little weird to you, but we both grew up in families that were
Christian families.
Christian families. Mm-hmm. Went to church, Sunday school, all of that. But I never, I just did it. I took my kids there, and all of that. But we're both now at this stage of life really enjoying doing some Bible study, to really read the Bible. It's a great book. And really to grow spiritually that we never made time for.
Right.
And I would say it's fun because we do in the morning chat about a couple things that we learned. Wouldn't you say? Is that?
Yeah, we're in different studies. I'm in a women's study, and you're studying, kind of in a men's group or even alone more often than not. But it's really been interesting to me to try to find my way through my Christian Bible study.
Yeah, we should do a video on that maybe. What do you think?
Yeah. The next one is traveling alone and or traveling with our family. I mean, I made a concerted effort probably in the last 2 years to really travel to see each of the kids, to spend time with the kids one-on-one in their world, and to travel with some friends and our family, because travel is a big part of our retirement.
It is.
We could do more.
Well, the thing that we do, like we're going up to New York for a business trip in April and May.
And I wouldn't say that would be for fun.
No. But April, we're going to Austin to spend 4 days with Maddie and Ben. And we're excited. I'm excited about that. I love Austin.
That's also a work trip.
A little bit, but it's really, we're staying in an Airbnb. We're not in a hotel.
Right.
The kids will probably stay with us a couple nights. That's fun for us. The other thing that we do to have fun is we watch very little TV, but what we enjoy is watching a series on Netflix, and you may too. You think, well, what's the big deal?
Prime or Paramount or
right. But we'll watch one episode a
Right.
night after dinner, and we like to talk about it. I'm not really I'm worse at TV than you are, so 3 shows in, I'm out if it's no good. But it's really our only TV vice
or
is
if
to
it's
have a
past
show.
8:30, you're asleep.
What's that?
If it's past 8:30 at night, you can't jump in.
I don't go to sleep at 8:30. I get ready for sleep at 8:30. But watching TV, a series, 1 hour a night for us is fun. It's not 3 hours.
Right.
We don't binge. It's good. Now look, some of these items might seem pretty obvious. We went over 20 of them, but I hope you took notes, and when you string a couple of these together, you're going to start to feel better, you're going to look better, and you're really going to have a really much different, exciting, fulfilling retirement.
And it all takes commitment and intention and curiosity. So put a little effort in and your life will shine.
So we hope you like this video. This next one, the fun and importance of trying new things in retirement, you're going to love that. It shows you and how to open your eyes to the new possibilities that exist. So watch this next.